Hello, my name is Randy Dobson. I'm an instructor here in the Houston, Texas area, and this video will be on the Autocad Mtext command. This is actually my second of two or final video on Mtext. I know my first video went over some of the basic stuff, and I might be repeating myself, but only in the sense that I want you really to make sure that you understand it. Uh, Now, when you start the MText, which I've done, or we did in the previous one, it's always asking for a rectangle. And as you know, it doesn't matter if you make a small rectangle and type something in, or make a larger rectangle and type it in, because the grips allow you to change that without affecting the text. So you never want to worry about it. Just go ahead and type it up, and then AutoCAD makes it really easy to manipulate the tabs, as you probably know them better in Word documents, things like that. But one of the things I wanted to point out is I've have some assignments where a student has to put text in a rectangle, and they're not sure of how to center it correctly. And by using Mtext, it does it for you. If I come up here to Mtext, and I want my rectangle to be the corner of this box end, using my O snaps to here, then I just go up to my justification and type in middle center, and I can sit here and type community colleges of Texas are very reasonably priced for students to afford. I'm going to click there, and as you can see, everything is equal. This box, I might be able to pull it in a little bit but you notice it's going in from the other side. So that's fine. It's keeping it all centered, and there is my information. It's all centered both this way and this way. Now, of course, if you ever have a circle, obviously you can't do a rectangle in there, but you can still use something very, very similar to it. If you go to your Mtext, if you want to kind of create a box or a rectangle within that circle, say something like this by eyeballing it and then going to middle center, we could say water valve number 1234. And as you can see, it's not perfect. As you see, that's got a little bit less space than this over here, so I could come and kind of eyeball a little bit. But with working with a circle, it's a little bit more difficult. But there is a way to do it, just like I did with this rectangle within the circle. Uh, and you want to remember about when you are typing. I'm going to start another Mtext here. Oops. Let me see if I can get my Mtext to work. There we go. Uh, let's see. Type up something. I was born in Houston, Texas, and lived here most of my life. Uh, I do work in the civil engineering field. I'm trying to think of an odd word that might pop up. Creating. Oh, I'm trying to think of an odd word here. Well, let me just type in AutoCAD. Okay. Drawings. Okay. So, as you noticed, okay, I just started typing, didn't care what my rectangle was like, because of course, I can do this. Okay. Another thing to keep in mind is you can see it put the little red squigglies under my AutoCAD. Since whenever I type a lot and use the word AutoCAD, I'm going to right click and tell it to add to dictionary. So now if I come over here and do Mtext, I can type AutoCAD, AutoCAD, SolidWorks Inventor. Of course, Inventor is its own word, but see SolidWorks, but see AutoCAD does not have the little red squiggly, but SolidWorks does, and I can just come in here and add that to my dictionary. Now, anytime I type SolidWorks, it won't give me the line. So you can add, you can create your own dictionary or add to, make it very specific to whatever you want to type. You might have terminology that's not going to be used, like in engineering or highway engineering. We have what's called a gore point, and actually it's not going to do that, unfortunately. I thought it would. uh, but if you have an unusual word that you can add it to your dictionary, so you're not having to always skip it or have it highlighted for you. uh, and that's again a nice thing to have, remembering to use your wraparound unless you want something to stand out, where say if I was born in Houston, Texas, I could just highlight that, and now no matter how big this gets or how small, it'll hold this break. So again, it's like a Word document. Another thing that has become a big change when AutoCAD 2008 came out was working with columns. Now, when we used to have to do columns, if we had something that, I'm just going to draw a rectangle here real quick, and say that I need it, make it a little bit smaller. I needed this to be in here, so what I would have to do is copy this a couple times and then take off this piece and then take off this and pull it up. I mean, just to kind of show you, we'd have to do stuff like this. We'd have to cut that off, and then we'd have to go to here and cut this part of it off and then see where it landed, and then we'd have to cut this part off, and so on and so forth. Very, very time consuming. And again, that was the only way we knew how to do it. Well, with 2008 and above and newer, they've got the dynamic columns, which when you double click on this, it's right up here, and I've got it set to dynamic columns. Dynamic meaning it's movable. Static means it stays in one spot. Dynamic means it fluctuates, moves. So I'm just going to close this, but I'm going to clip on this and watch how it creates these columns for me. I could come up here like that, then I could come up here like that, and there it fits in the box, nice and neat. All of your settings, like here, the column settings, you've got the height of the columns. That, of course, that's dynamic, so you don't set that. The column widths, let me just change this to 2, and as you can see, it made them closer together. uh, and that might be helpful if somebody came and says, well, the box is really to here. Well, I could just come and do this, do this, do that, do that, and I ran out of space. So what I could do is just double click, go to column settings. Let's change this column to 1. Let's go 1.5, and there. It fits in there nice and neat. This is still all one document. If I want to, you know, oops, I click it once, I can sit here and pull it all back down into one pile if I want to. So, and of course, this is mainly for my intermediate class. What I'm doing a lot to get this back is using the undo. I know I kind of do that quickly, but you can see down here, I type in the U enter to take it back the way that I had it before. So again, just kind of reiterating from the first video also, is this is a word processor. When you double click on this, this becomes a word processor uh, tile up here, menu. And if you're confused on how to do something, ask somebody that knows Word or knows word processors to help you out. One last thing I just saw I wanted to add is if you wanted to add a symbol, You have all of your typical symbols. Here's a centerline symbol, or you might have almost equal symbol. Um, Oops, wrong one. And then you can get into other. Let me just tell you, there are hundreds and hundreds and thousands of different symbols. This is just the Arial. You see how many are there. Multiply all of those times all these different styles. So, I mean, you can really, really get into some, interesting things. You pick it, you hit select, and then you hit copy, and close it, and then you just paste it there, and there's your fancy symbol. So again, very much like a word processor. Does still have a little AutoCAD in it right up here, but practice with it and use it, and hopefully you will enjoy it. That concludes my video on Mtext. Thank you.